If you had to start your music career over in today's scene, where would you start? Music-wise, obviously the first place to start is getting good at music, but when it comes to an actual career, let's keep it a being, content is king, right? So for me, if I was starting over, I'd probably play it similarly to how I did it, which is like, I got good enough, I got confident enough, and then I just started posting videos of me making beats every single day and stuff like that. Then I got into the remixes and all that. Eventually, one thing led to another. That's how I got to where I am today. Now, that all being said, there are definitely some things I would have done different. Honestly, it feels like I'm starting new every month, the way the algorithms change. So what I would suggest to someone who's new and just ready to start, like they haven't even started yet, or they haven't got enough traction to where they could completely switch strategies. I think today's day and age, like as far as content goes, the algorithms, or not even just the algorithms, because think about how you consume content. If you find a video of someone and they bake some really good cookies, and then you see another video of them baking some really good brownies, you're going to go to their page to look for some more like pastry, nice recipes, and then you'll probably follow them to see what else they have. But imagine you see them doing all these pastries, but then all of a sudden they're just like making alcohol drinks or something, like something completely different. You're not going to be that incentivized to like follow them and keep up with them. So in the same light, I would probably really dial in a niche or a style of content, because I know music, you don't want to box yourself into just making one style of music. That's kind of what I did a little bit. But if you can come up with a style of content that is consistent enough for people to have something to look forward to, a great example of this will be my guy June Jizzle. He takes something and then he makes like 4 beats every video of like, let's say like the Adult Swim song, but like in different hoods, and he'll like remix it into different hoods. And that's been really good for him because he just does that same thing all the time. Everybody knows what to expect, and from there he can just keep doing that and growing and growing. Me, on the other hand, I'm all over the place. Every month, every week, I'm trying out new styles of content. I'm trying out new styles of music. I've been doing like ambient music now, and every album I do is like almost completely different. So if I just want to accelerate a growth with my career, I'd find some kind of concept that I can consistently do a lot over time, so people can just be familiar with that and just want more of it. But definitely get good at music first. Get confident with it. That's just one of the great questions you guys asked. I put a post out just like wanting to do like an end of the year Q&A type video. So for the rest of this video, I'm just going to be answering your questions. And as you can see, I'm super lax. I'm chilling in a chair. I'm doing this kind of podcast style. I'll keep it a bean. My little princess right here, my little angel, she was in my chair, bro. So I changed my whole setup. I sat in this chair all for her. So if you're a lover of cats, you know, maybe hit a like, hit a subscribe button, because we respect their privacy and their comfort over here on this channel. Anyway, on to the other questions. So I took some of the questions and I segmented them. So how this video is going to go, the categories are personal growth and reflection questions, music production stuff, practical advice, motivation and creativity, some gear and technical stuff, and I'm going to close out with some fun questions. So this is a great question. What's been the biggest plot twist in your life or career this year, and how did it change the game for you moving forward? This is super interesting because this year, like a lot of other years, if you saw my Spotify rap video, I kind of touched on it a little bit, but the biggest plot twist that I found this year is that, and this is going to sound silly, but I really need to stop chasing, I won't call myself a clout chaser, but like chasing numbers, chasing trends, and focusing more on what actually makes me happy, right? So the biggest plot twist for me is like, I'm still a student and learning is everything when it comes to just music and creativity in general. And I found this out because I started learning piano. And while I was practicing piano and learning piano, I realized this isn't even that hard and this is actually really fun. And it inspired me that in the future, I would like to start doing more like TV and film stuff. Like one of my big goals now is to like score like some cartoon or anime or something like that. That'll be super sick. And that was like a realization I had just by picking it up and trying to not worry so much about like how consistent I am on social media, because at least behind the scenes, I'm doing something fun. And yeah, it's kind of like a random plot twist where it's like, maybe if you're like not making a lot of beats because you're burnt out and you're getting burnt out all the time, maybe you're just not having that much fun with this type of thing. So then when I started learning keys, I just started having way more fun making beats because now I just have a better understanding of it or whatever. So pretty crazy. Another question is, what has been your most significant life lesson so far? The main thing that I feel like, and I've talked about this a lot, is manifestation, right? Your thoughts become reality. Just being optimistic about life was probably the biggest lesson I've learned. Being optimistic and getting out of your own way and just having those positive thoughts about what you want to do. Because obviously in this day and age with social media and stuff like that, we're always comparing ourselves to like, you know, I don't know how old you might be watching this. Probably you're 17, right? But like you're 17 and you're seeing like all these social media kids making all this money, and you see the FaZe group and all these streamers just like balling out with their Uruses and stuff like that, and you think you're not doing enough. That kind of stuff can put you down. It can get into your head. But also, if you look at it from a different perspective, you could do that, bro. What's so different about them than you? That was like the biggest brain shift I had, is that like anything I want in life, I can probably get if I put in the work and just change how I view things. Like a lot of times you just go through life thinking that certain things are out of your grasp and that just aren't possible for you, but that's not really the case. For me, I came about this lesson after reading The Secret and Think and Grow Rich. I did a whole video on that, but that made me realize like, oh, I'm always the one calling myself broke. I'm always complaining about being broke. I'm always complaining about not getting any views on my videos or not getting any streams on my songs. I'm the one that's complaining about this stuff. And personally, I felt like I was speaking all that stuff into existence. So once I switched that and I just took the word broke out of my vocabulary and I just started getting rid of all the excuses that I might come up with to not do something or to procrastinate something. Once I got rid of all that and changed my mindset, everything started to go right for me to a certain degree. Obviously, there's ups and downs with anything in any career. You can't be positive all the time, but for the most part, like I'm just always grateful for where I am and just acting as if everything's gonna work out. That's just how I do it. No matter what, no matter how low my monthly listeners go, I just always act and feel like at some point it'll work out. That's it. So that's my lesson to you. It'll work out, bro. It will. You just got to have that mindset. So next question, what would you be doing if not music? Honestly, I'm a creative guy, dude. So before music, I was into like photography, videography, graphic design. That's the kind of stuff I like, is just anything creative. So maybe I'd be like an animator or something. I love cartoons and anime, so I'd like to think I would be doing something in the digital art space or something like that. All right, let's get into some of the music and production stuff. This is a great question right here. How have you narrowed down the things you really want to spend time and effort on when it comes to your music career? I feel that there's so many paths to go down these days, and I find myself just getting stuck in a decision paralysis. Amen, brothers. So look, here's the thing about that. I wish I had an answer for you. For me personally, that is the hardest thing for me, narrowing down what I want to do, because like I mentioned before, I change my mind on how I want to do things almost like every week. So it really boils down to like writing goals and stuff like that. Think about, do you have any very specific goals that you want to achieve? And then what do you think it'll take to reach that goal? For me personally, like I reached a lot of my goals already. So that's why I'm struggling to figure out, okay, do I want to keep making lo-fi forever? What do I really want to do? Am I doing content? Am I an influencer? Like every week it changes for me. I just said one of my big goals now is to score films or score some cartoons or animes or something like that. So if I set a big goal to, let's just start with getting my music into a cartoon or movie or animation or something like that, that is how I'll be able to narrow down what I want to do, right? Because now I have this, so I'm like, okay, if I want to do that, I got to practice keys more. And then once I get more confident with the keys, I should probably download some cartoons from YouTube and rescore them. Maybe I'll do a series online where I like rescore TV shows or my favorite animes or something like that. And then throughout that process, obviously for me, I have a manager, so sitting down with him to come up with some strategy on how we can actually get these songs and videos and stuff like that to these animation studios or whatever. So that's the best way I can tell you to do it, but I'm not good at this myself because there's so many variables, right? For me, I got this house, I got a wife, I got my 2 kids, they're cats. So I got bills, you know what I'm saying? On one hand, it's like, oh, I want to just go all in on this, but then I still got to do this and that to make money, you know, and I still got to make content to remain relevant, and all these different things come into play. But in general, set a goal, and that'll help you narrow down to exactly what you want to do. But again, it could change every month. It could change every week. Just stick with something. Okay, here's a good one. What new challenges have you faced this year that are similar or the same from when you started creating content? Or what new obstacles have you faced this year that is different from other years? That's a great question, because as far as obstacles go, there's always obstacles. And honestly, for the most part, they're always the same. The obstacles are, how am I going to make money? How am I going to pay rent? How am I going to get the next viral song? How am I going to get more views on my content so that I can work with more brands and, you know, do this and that? So the obstacles are always like navigating navigating the algorithms, navigating my own personal mental health when it comes to just like inspiration and motivation. I'd say the biggest obstacle I probably had this year was letting go, because when I decided to learn piano, I decided to take a step back from social media. So I've always just been terrified of taking a break from social media. But this year I did kind of do it. Like, I didn't post nearly as much on YouTube, social media. I posted way less this year, and just getting over that mindset of like, if I take a break, I'm coming back and everybody's going to be gone has been the hardest thing to do. But breaks are super necessary. Like I said earlier, doing it for fun, like learning piano and just doing things that make me happy, it just will only lead to a better outcome for my music or this or that. Next question surrounding music production. Let's see what we got. Okay, this is a good one. What's the biggest lesson you learned from music production this year? Great question. The biggest lesson I learned is music theory is not that hard, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like, I've tried learning piano so many times and I've always failed because the way I tried to do it, like one way was I got like a class on Udemy, right? And I'm just following along, dead at that. And then I tried to just do the YouTube thing for a bit, didn't keep up with it. But this time, granted, I haven't really practiced in the past month because all the holiday craziness, Black Friday, all that kind of stuff, new sample packs, everything that goes on in life when you're running a business. But I will say the approach I took this time was actually meeting with people face to face, or, you know, like I did interviews with like Simon, my boy Oliver Malcolm came and actually showed me some stuff, and I've been doing melodics and stuff. So those things have helped me immensely, and just like actually breaking it down and just trying to learn scales first has changed everything. Just learning scales has changed everything. If you can just learn some scales and like memorize them, you'll start to be able to just make better melodies, period. That's how it's been for me. Now, like even on my Ableton Push, the Ableton Push always has the scales built in, so I can just do shapes and shit. Now that I know what notes are in scales and stuff like that, I'm able to just make better melodies. So just give it a shot. Like at the very least, just learn some scales. Learn some scales and learn some chords that are in those scales, and that'll be a good start. It's better than nothing. Okay, so this question is interesting. How do you actually finish tracks? I have a huge problem. I start many projects but never finish them. This is from my guy Peas. Honestly, bro, I've never said your name out loud, but it's P-I-H-S. He actually just won the L.Dre Drum Kit Volume 6 contest, and his beat was incredible. It was arranged perfectly. So honestly, I don't even know why you're asking me this, bro, because you clearly got it going on. But I know a lot of people struggle with this. I won't say it's like the easiest thing, but the way I got better at just finishing tracks and arranging tracks is by remixing. That is the biggest hack, honestly. It's not just for the viral videos. If you use an acapella and put it over your beat, because as instrumentalists, it's different for us. We got to try to make the beat interesting so people could just listen to it. But for me, I started making beats as like an actual producer, working with artists and stuff like that. I was selling beats on BeatStars, so I had to learn how to arrange beats for these artists to get on. But I understand that a lot of people, especially like people that watch me, they don't have that experience. They're just jumping in and getting straight into lo-fi, and they're just dropping instrumentals on Spotify. But you still need to learn the fundamentals of arranging, and the best way to do that is by doing remixes. But for me, it's just like as simple as I like to just make a loop and stack a bunch of stuff and then just take things out. Just take away stuff, because simplicity is key for me, at least. And that's what I like to do. But bro, the person who asked me this question, the way he arranged the winning beat, incredible, bro. Like, I need to learn from you. What the hell? Okay, this is a good one. Top 3 things to focus on when trying to go full-time as a music producer. Obviously, if you're trying to go full-time, that involves money. So obviously the first thing is figuring out how to make money. But honestly, the real first thing is like getting good at it. Before you even consider trying to take something full-time, practice, get as good as you can. And then also you got to get confident enough, because I can't just tell you to be good, because technically music is subjective, but everybody knows, just like over time, you'll know if you're good based on like the people who are around you. Like if you find that you end up working with more artists or whatever you're trying to do, eventually you're going to find out if you're good or if you're buns, honestly. Like I got my little one-on-one mentorships. They're like 30-minute calls that I do with people. They either ask me advice or like, you know, they send me their songs and I can critique it and give them advice and stuff like that. If you want to do those, I'm not really scheduling them like that anymore, but you can go to my website and just like shoot me an email if you're interested in that. But just find a way to get your music in front of other people so you can eventually over time find validation that you're good. So that's actually number one. But then number two would obviously be figure out a way to make money. And there's so many different ways. That's actually another question, how to make money from music production. But it's tough. For me, I first started making money from music production by actually selling beats. And it's not like I was making a ton of money, but I was on BeatStars, I was uploading type beats, and I was doing my videos on Instagram, and I actually made most of my money from people hitting me up asking for custom beats. And I was doing custom made exclusive beats for like $200. Way too cheap. But at the time, I didn't even think I was that good. So anything I got at the time, I was just super grateful. But yeah, make sure you're good, try your best, post on social media, just get that validation that you are good, and also build that confidence up. And two, figure out how to make money or how you're gonna make money. Cause you could be a full-time music producer with side hustles, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people teach. If you're good at piano, try to find a way to like teach people piano to make money. Figure out some kind of product that you can sell to make money. The third and maybe the most important thing outside of money is just like make sure you have a presence online. Make sure your social media game is on point. Find an image. You can set up your image however you want to, but as long as you're on socials and just like posting enough to be recognizable, because that's how people reach out to you. When I was selling beats, I barely made sales on like YouTube or stuff like that. When I was selling beats, people were just reaching out to me. And the reason why they were reaching out to me was because I was posting videos, period. That's the best way to do it, because then you get artists, and then maybe you might find some fire artists where you're like, okay, bet they reach out to you because they see your content, and then now you're like working with them on a consistent basis, and then they blow up and you're right up there with them. So that was a mouthful, but yeah, the main three will be getting good, social media game on lock, and just figuring out how to make money either like outside of music, side hustles, whatever you can do to really fund the full-time musician lifestyle. All right, one cat left, but I already got another one. This is my boy Pigeon. Next question would be, someone asks, how has switching to ambient tracks with no drums affected my algorithmic plays? The answer to that question is, I don't know, bro. I just put out the ambient songs and I didn't really pay much attention to the stats. Watch my last video of my Spotify rap video. That'll explain a lot, but really right now I'm just trying stuff. I don't really care about like algorithmic stats, but I will say someone also asked like, do I have any plans for a new album or EP? My next project will be an ambient project with no drums, so looking forward to that. All right, let's get into some practical advice. So this one came up a lot. How do I manage my time as a musician? Great question. So a long time ago, I would say, I don't, bro, please, somebody help me. But nowadays, I still need help. But my general system is just having a to-do list and a calendar. For me, I use an app called Todoist, and then I also just use Apple Calendar because everything works seamless now. But without that, I'm nothing, bro. Like I'll just forget stuff, or I just don't have any structure. So for me, it's like every night I'll just like think about, okay, what do I need to do tomorrow? I guess also on top of that, instead of just like thinking about everything I need to do, I prioritize what is really needs to get done versus nothing that's too time sensitive. Because obviously now like I work with brands and all this kind of stuff, and a lot of times there's deadlines and this and that. So yeah, for me, every night I'm on the to-do list, like, okay, what are like the main 3 things that I absolutely need to get done tomorrow? And then after that, I'll just put what are some smaller things that need to get done. I wish I had more structure to the day. Like I would recommend time blocking. I've tried it. I just can never keep up with them. So at this point, I kind of just have the to-do list, and then just throughout the day, I just try my best to do it all. It's not very healthy because I'll end up not eating lunch and then feeling like I got to pass out or whatever. At the very least, I can recommend using a to-do list and a calendar to keep yourself on point with what you absolutely need to get done. And if you want to try time blocking, that's pretty much just like you set certain periods of the day to work on stuff. So what I used to do is like I wake up at a certain time, and then from like, let's say 11 to 12, I'm practicing piano. That's all I'm doing for that hour. And that is definitely helpful. But for me, once I stopped doing that, I just stopped forever. So I could try to get back into it. Maybe that's something I'll explore for the new year. And then following up to that, what are your tips for content creation? Not to keep repeating myself, but for content creation, I would just say the best way to make content is you just got to watch a lot of content and find inspiration in those content and just try your best to just mimic what other people are doing, but in your own style. And I think it's cool too if you're like, let's say not even music, don't even look for music producers, just go to like, I don't know, maybe someone who paints and see if there's a style of content that they do that works for them, and figure out if there's a way you can do that same thing but with music. My main thing is just to be consistent with a certain style of content, and that's something I don't do. But if I were to take my own advice, I would just, find some good style, stick to that, and just run with it hella consistent. Outside of that, lighting and audio, super important. Make sure your lighting's good, make sure your audio's good. Another question, do you think music school was worth it? No. Next question. It's cool. I met a cool friend, my guy Oliver Malcolm from my learning piano episode. I met him and I love that dude. So, all right, let's talk some motivation. Okay, my guy Kaio. As someone who's been creating content and music for so long consistently, how do you keep yourself motivated? And more importantly, how do you keep yourself enjoying the process without burning out / getting bored? This is the question of the century right here. For me, this goes back to what I was talking about, like with the book, The Secret and Think and Grow Rich and stuff like that, because really it's all about mindset. So for me, I've always just known that music is it for me, and I just got to figure out a way to make it work. With this particular question, I don't think motivation is something like that you really need to think about too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I make music and videos all the time without being motivated, but I just do it because I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Similarly with burning out, I burn out all the time. So pretty much create, burn out, stop for a bit. Create, burn out, stop for a bit. But the key is to, when you stop for a bit, to come back and don't stop for too long. That's really what it's all about, is like finding some kind of balance so that when you do stop, you're coming back. But for me, again, music is it for me. That's what I want to do. That's what I've always wanted to do. So I guess one thing I'd suggest for everyone out there is, like, motivation is difficult, especially if you're just not sure what you want to do. Like, you really got to be sure about music, because this is not easy, bro. Like, music, it's fun to make and this and that, but it's not like an easy thing to do, like, career wise. So you really got to love it. But yeah, I wish I had better tips on like avoiding burnout and stuff like that. But in all actuality, bro, I don't. I get burnt out all the time. I'm burnt out right now. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep at it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say. But you did mention something interesting about enjoying the process. Now, that's something that's kind of new for me. Obviously, I always enjoy the process of making music. It's a fun career, blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm not gonna lie, I stopped enjoying it for a while, but then when I started learning piano, the fire was relit. Learning piano helped me to enjoy the process. So like, learning new things, let's keep it a beam, buying new gear. Whenever I get new gear, that's always exciting. I'm excited to make music when I get new gear, new plugins, stuff like that. And all that comes with learning, right? Because if you get new gear, you got to learn how to use it. So if you want to keep the process enjoyable, you got to keep learning, you got to keep discovering, and that is probably what'll keep you going for sure. But yeah, let's look at some of these random questions. I got a lot of questions like aspirations for 2025. What are you looking forward to most about 2025? How do you keep yourself inspired? For 2025, I want to focus on a few things. Again, obviously, I'm a broken record at this point. I'm always changing my mind. So I want to not be hard on myself about changing my mind. That's one thing. But as of right now, practicing piano is still like my top priority, because like I said, I want to get into scoring. So that's something I need to really focus on. And then two, I kind of want to up the quality of my videos as far as like my YouTube videos go and stuff like that, because I really do love YouTube. Like, out of all the platforms went away and there was just YouTube, I'd be cool with that. And yeah, I watch a lot of different YouTube channels and I have a lot of ideas, but I honestly feel like I'm pretty lazy when it comes to the quality. Like right now, you might notice my videos have been looking a lot better the past couple of days. It's because I brought my Canon back out. I've been using the little DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is a solid camera, but like the camera quality is like no better than an iPhone, whereas this is like a $5,000 camera setup that you're watching right now. Same thing with the audio. Like, I don't know, I really want to figure out to get better audio in my videos and just like better storytelling, just better videos. That's something I'm interested in doing. But yeah, those are the main things: piano, better videos, and I guess like I want to figure out some other source of income that isn't music. That's super important. But we'll see about that one. Who's your favorite anime character and what's your favorite anime? Come on now, I'm a Jaegerist. Eren Yeager, boy. Attack on Titan, let's go. Yeah, Attack on Titan is the goated anime. It's my favorite, but low-key, I think Hunter x Hunter might be like my heart's favorite. Attack on Titan is my mind's favorite, but I think Hunter x Hunter has my heart for real, and Gon. So shout out to Gon, shout out to Eren Yeager, bro. Favorite things to do on vacation? Chill, nothing. I love doing nothing at all, and eating and doing nothing. Pfft, sexy. For $1 million, would you get a thumb inside of you? You didn't say inside of where. So if it's in my ear or even my mouth, thumb in my mouth for $1 million, what do you say? $1 million, thumb in my mouth? Yeah, sure. But if it's the place that we all pretty much assume that you're talking about, $1 million, I'd have to think about it. Can I double it as like, you know, there's an exam, prostate exam, and I'm getting up there. So $1 million prostate exam? I don't know. It doesn't sound too bad. Anyway, someone also said, when can you discount your drum kits? By the way, bro, I just did 50% off for my birthday. I don't post about my discounts on like socials or anything. So if you're not on my email list, just go to proudbyle.com, do the little welcome email sign up thing. I think you'll get 10% off just from signing up. And I do discounts all the time, bro. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for an incredible year. I don't even know when this is coming out. This might come out in January, but thank you for an incredible 2024. It's a ride, and I hope you guys are riding with me because I don't have it all figured out myself, but I do know a thing or two. I have like 2 master classes if you want to check them out, proudbyle.com. So like I do know a thing or two, but at the end of the day, it's all about reinventing yourself all the time, and that's kind of what I try to do. And I'm going to keep doing it, and hopefully you keep watching. So appreciate you guys. Peace.